Hey there, folks. This is Faith from Mountain Mama Massage. We offer deep tissue prenatal and postpartum massage for all genders and generations in Boulder and Lafayette, Colorado. We also have an online program, Partner Massage Essentials for Pregnancy, where you can learn to massage your partner at home during pregnancy. But today in our audio blog, we're diving into something a little different, honoring grief and embracing autumn's letting go energy. As autumn settles in around us, this season offers a unique opportunity to work with the natural rhythm of letting go. Whether you're ready to tackle that cluttered drawer, clear out a whole room, or engage more deeply with the grief you've been carrying, fall's energy supports both practical and emotional release. Fall season in traditional Chinese medicine. Did you know that in traditional Chinese medicine, each season corresponds to specific meridians and energetic qualities? Fall is associated with the lung and large intestine meridians, and its predominant emotions are grief, sadness, and letting go. When these meridians are in balance, we can release what no longer serves us, creating space for renewed energy and vibrance. This might manifest as clearing physical clutter from our homes or releasing old patterns of behavior and thought. When the lung and large intestine meridians are out of balance, we may find ourselves stuck, wallowing in the sadness, clinging to memories or belongings, or becoming more susceptible to physical ailments like coughs, constipation, and general fatigue at the change of seasons. But we can lean into autumn's natural rhythm. Perhaps you're already honoring this letting go energy in simple ways. Decluttering a kitchen drawer, donating clothes from a former version of yourself that you just don't wear anymore, or even tackling those old boxes in the basement. I know that at this season, I often get a big burst of energy to clear out the toys from our living room or finally go through that box in the garage that my parents sent me. And maybe I just don't need those things anymore. Like the trees releasing their leaves, we can harness fall's natural energy to create space in our lives. But maybe this year has brought deeper grief that calls for more intentional attention. We walk with clients through all seasons. At Mountain Mom Massage, we accompany clients through every season of life. While many people first discover us during the joyful time of growing their family, we work with clients for years as life unfolds, and life inevitably brings grief in many forms. We all encounter both large and small losses, the death of a parent, a pet, a relative, the end of a friendship or a close relationship, identity shifts, like the transition from maiden to mother, or even identity shifts that come with having more children. We experience job loss, missed opportunities, and pregnancy loss. Our massage therapists are humans too, and truthfully, in this past year, several of us have experienced significant losses with deaths of beloved family members. Fall and autumn can be an especially beneficial season to give extra attention to the grief we've experienced throughout the year, engaging with rituals that help us process these losses as we get ready to move into winter's darker months. Today, I'm sharing some simple grief rituals that encourage us to honor our grief rather than push it away. And these can be simple and beautiful. Intentional remembering. Gather with others who knew your loved one or are willing to hear their stories. Share memories and enjoy foods they loved. I have a great uncle who was famous for his love of desserts, and my family still memorializes him by sharing ice cream sundaes in his honor whenever we are together. Lighting a candle or creating an altar. Many cultures practice lighting candles or building altars for the deceased, but this ritual works equally well when grieving changes in identity or circumstances. An altar for this purpose is any intentional space you create to honor a person, event, or circumstance. It might also include items representing the next phase of your journey. Altars can be any size and include anything meaningful to you: natural objects, photographs, quotes, or mementos. Remember that this space is for you alone, so nothing needs to make sense to anyone else. You never need to explain your altar. Home altars work best in safe spaces where you'll see them regularly and can sit nearby. And by safe spaces, in this case, I'm talking about out of the way of small hands, or even just spaces that they don't care about. I have an altar in my bedroom that I'm going to jinx right now, but knock on wood, my son has just never tried to grab the things on it. It's always been there since he was born, and he's just totally uninterested in it. You can also create altars outdoors with intentional impermanence in nature. So we make these just so that the wind and the rain and the change of season can change them. Speaking to loved ones. Write letters or speak aloud to someone who has died to feel closer to them. In Japan, a man created what's called a wind phone. It's a disconnected telephone in his garden where people could call deceased loved ones. This idea has spread, and these wind phones now exist throughout the US. Fundraising in honor. Many people run races or complete athletic challenges while fundraising for causes close to their loved one's heart or related to their passing. Even without fundraising, hiking or spending time in nature can be deeply therapeutic. Which brings us to physical movement as ritual. Long pilgrimages do exist, and a long pilgrimage may not be accessible in this moment of your life, but perhaps you could go for a local hike. One solo hiking ritual that I use focuses on grief and memories during my outbound journey. And at the turning point, I pause, I contemplate or create a small natural altar with found objects. On the return trip, I shift my attention to how I want to live this person's memory forward, or if I'm integrating an identity change or circumstance, how I want to live this into my life. Journaling. Writing remains one of the most accessible ways to process emotions. Set aside dedicated time for deep journaling about your grief. And I'm sharing a few helpful prompts here if they work for you. You might create a timeline of significant moments with the person who died or the circumstance that changed. You can describe a favorite memory and how it made you feel. Or think of a song that reminds you of your loved one or the loss that you're grieving, and explore why this connection exists. Why does this song make you think of this person or this circumstance? Connecting through grief. In American culture, grief often remains hidden, treated almost like a contagious illness. This feels normal to us in America, but many cultures approach grief as a communal experience, expecting those who've suffered close losses to take approximately 2 years to fully integrate their loss. I've even lived abroad in cultures where there are designated wailers, people who weep at a funeral or a memorial, just to open up that pathway. People dance in their grief. People travel together in their grief. If opening up about your grief feels right, look for people around you who might want to share this journey, or seek community through support organizations like the Center for Somatic Grieving or Grief Pilgrim. Both of those are linked in the written blog post. Pregnancy and infant loss rituals. October, the month that I'm recording this, is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. If this experience is part of your story, our clients who have also been through pregnancy or infant loss have shared several rituals over the years that have been meaningful to them, and I want to share them with you here. Planting a tree in memory of your pregnancy or baby. Creating an altar space in your home with meaningful items for remembrance. Taking a ritual hike or engaging in quiet physical activity for remembrance. And our clients who have done this have often chosen also to carry ashes or a memento if that felt appropriate to you. Creating art just for yourself or art to share with others. Locally, we're fortunate to have access to private individual therapy and community support groups that welcome those who've experienced pregnancy or infant loss. And linked in the written blog, you can see our grief resources for miscarriage and infant loss support for options accessible locally, globally, and resources for those who just want to grieve in private. Honoring your unique grief journey. Every person grieves differently, and nothing about grief needs to follow a linear path. If any of these rituals resonate with you, we're glad to offer support. If you have ways of integrating grief that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you because we are always, always learning from our clients. This fall, whether you're clearing physical clutter or tending to emotional landscapes, remember that both are valid ways to honor this season's invitation to let go and to make space for what's to come.